I just got off a coaching call and the gentleman said, how do I make $150,000 net? Like after expenses, after leads, all this stuff. So you want to make 150K net. I'm going to walk through exactly what I walked through with him from a paid coaching session. Also, if you ever want to do coaching with me, go to CodyAskins.com, click on coaching, fill out a form, let's chat. Maybe I can help. Especially if you like this, then you'll know I can help. Okay. So he said, I want to make 150K net. I said, well, dude, let's do some math, right? I'm going to stair step and go through all this right now. Okay. So I said, okay, 150K net. I said, let's just assume that you spent $50,000 on leads. Okay. I'm not saying, so you may not feel like you have the money. However, let's just see if you did. Okay. So 150K net. If you add on $150,000 worth of leads and actually pay $1,000 every single week, that's $200,000. If you look at like a 75% advance, okay, you're at $266,000 of premium, of life insurance premium that you would need to write. Okay, now, also when you get 75% advance, later in the year, you're going to start picking up some of those advances, right, which is additional money that we're not even counting. But you're only going to get so much up front. Also, we're just going to assume that you're getting all the premium to you in commission. Some commission rates are higher, some commission rates are lower. I'm not going to get into all the carriers and companies and commission rates and all that. However, $266,000 in annual premium. This guy was around 100% commission, okay, in this example. Now, there is, I said plus, there's also something that's going to fall off. Let's just assume that like $30,000, $40,000 is just going to fall off. You're going to write it, it's going to issue, you're going to get paid, or they're not going to pay, or they are going to pay, but they're going to change their mind in 2 weeks because their freaking sister shows up and talks them out of it, right? Whatever. That's the normal part of the business. So if you look at 266 and you add on some fall off, let's just assume that you had to issue 300,000 hypothetically to net 150. Now, in a lot of examples, you can actually do better than this, okay? But I said, hey, let's just assume you're going to issue $300,000 in 1 year. Okay, maybe you're thinking about it in 2023, Cody, I would love to write 300, net 150. This is how you do it. If you divide it by 50 weeks, it means you get 2 weeks of vacation. You're at $6K a week, so $6,000 a week. If you look at the average case, this was final expense specifically, that's $750 of average annual premium. Also, I haven't done some of these videos in a while. I know you guys love these. Let me know in comments if you want to see more of this style. Or give me an example and we'll just go shoot it for you right now, okay? $750 of average AP, that's about $62, $63 a month of average premium. I can promise you this, I go back out in the field right now, I'm gonna do 800, 900, probably 1,000 easily, even in final expense. I'm gonna average $80 a month all day, okay? So I think this is low, but I also think it's based on skill level. I think it's based on the market area you're in. You're gonna sell a little higher in, California or Florida versus Mississippi, right? Okay. Nothing against you guys in Mississippi, right? Okay. If you do the math, 6K divided by $750 of average annual premium that you collect and sell, that's 8 sales per week. Okay. He assumed earlier in the call when we first started talking, he lives in Arkansas, by the way. He said, well, I think I'm gonna need to sell 10 sales a week. I'm like, I think 10's to net 150. I think 10 sales is a lot, but dude, the more power to you. If you can do 10, phenomenal. 8 sales a week. I said, okay, here is why this, and then I actually took it a little further. So I'll wait on these other notes in a second. So 8 sales a week, okay? Hypothetically, if your life depended on it, could you go make 8 sales a week every week in 2023? Dude, I think you could, okay? So let's take it a step further. We talked about $50,000 in leads. That's $1,000 a week. Let's just assume that you did 2,000 pieces of mail for $1,000, right? Let's just also assume that you only got a 1% return. I think you can do better than this, by the way. That's only 20 leads for $1,000. That's $50 a lead for direct mail leads, which is high. You can normally get a direct mail lead right now in most markets for final expense. I'm not a direct mail vendor. I don't know a ton about direct mail, but it ain't rocket science, okay? You send out a reply card that says, hey, do you want final expense? They fill it out. They literally sign it, provide their info. They walk. Miss Betty sticks in the mailbox, USPS sends it to you, right? Or you get a screenshot of it sooner as they send it to the warehouse or whatever, right? Let's just say that the average per lead is $35. If you're looking at 20, you could probably get by in this example for like $600 or $700 early on. and then you could actually do more and have more leads, right? However, when you look at direct mail, door knocking, a lot of people are closing 40%. They're door knocking, they're closing 8 deals out of 20 because you've got some couples. Let's just assume that you close 30%. That's 6 a week, but 2 are couples, and then you're at the 8. But you could do better. As you get better, you're gonna have a higher closing rate. Also, we're talking about fresh direct mail every single week, super consistently. Again, you could probably start out with less than 1,000 and then end up transitioning to 1,000 and probably have more than 20. Okay. Some markets also respond better. Some markets may get a 1.5 or 2%. Some markets suck, right? This is for the whole world to like look at and say, you know what, I want to net 150 grand because anybody could. Here's what I told him though. I said, okay, based on all 3 of these models and all this, we did this for about 30 minutes. He was on my TV behind Dylan. I was on the board. We were just talking through this example. I said, here's what's going to hold you back from being able to achieve this. Okay. I said, number 1, you don't buy leads every week. Most people that get in the business, they say they're going to buy leads. They say they'll invest in leads. I've done it plenty of times too. You get them once, you get them twice. Takes a few weeks to get direct mail back. You're not getting a return. You're like, gosh, dang it, I got to pay again. Or you have a bad week and you don't make a lot of sales, and then you stop. It's the death of a business. I'm telling you, for you to succeed, in this model, okay? There's a lot of models. In this model, you have to buy leads every single week like clockwork. You just do. It's got to be on a per weekly lead order, and you can't turn it off. I said, here's why you wouldn't accomplish it. You don't buy leads weekly. I also said you don't work a specific schedule. Maybe you door knock, which door knocking direct mail is the easiest thing to do. You don't have to be good at the phone. You're showing up at their house. You're gonna get less objections because you're showing up at their house. They're gonna lie to you less because you're showing up at their house. You're not gonna need to be the best salesperson in the world because you're showing up at their house, right? It's just easier. It's just easier. I'm not saying everybody in the world wants to do this. There's a bunch of 20 and 30-year-olds that are like, dude, I just want to sell over the phone. Phenomenal. You can do this in different ways. This model is based on maximizing premium for as little lead cost and effort as possible. So say you door knocked Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, most won't stick to a specific schedule. Also, most won't hit their activity. So if they're like, hey dude, I want to door knock all of these every day, Monday through Thursday, and I want to start like, if they buy or they tell me to get lost, or they just say no or whatever, then I'm gonna actually remove them, and then the stack of 20 is actually gonna get smaller over the course of the week. Also, you're gonna have some, by the way, that don't answer, you can't get a hold of for whatever reason, right? Or they're just never home, that you could also add to the next week to increase your stack. Right? So that you can get up to back where you're consistently door knocking at least the 20 new plus some other ones, right? So that's only going to help along the way too. It's kind of going to stack a little bit, right? So activity's big. I also said we can probably do better in this example. I was super conservative with all of this. And if you're a final expense savant, you can back me up, okay? You can probably get additional compensation, okay, in some cases. There's also going to be more leads, again, they're going to start to come through that you can go back to, which is great. Okay, you can supplement it a little bit. If you had to supplement it with age direct mail that you could find in your area, you could do that. Doesn't mean you're going to stop buying new ones weekly. You need fresh new leads. It's crazy with direct mail. People are walking to the mailbox. Okay, more leads, that'll help. It'll make it better. You're going to get better over the year. Your skills going to improve, and you're going to get some huge sales. I've had sales that were $505 a month. I've had sales that were $750 a month. I've had sales that were $1,000 a month. I had one home where I made 3 sales and it equaled about $750 from one house, right? So that will increase your overall average. When we look at $750, dude, over the course of a year, it will be higher. It just should be. You know, you're not gonna write a lot of $10, $20, $30 a month policies. You're just not, okay? So if you think about, dude, I wanna make $150K, I wanna net $150,000 in 2023, this is how you do it. Hey, if you enjoyed this, I got another one you're gonna love. It's right there. Click on it. See you in there.
When I first joined and decided to kind of jump in, it was kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And I remember being out in the field. I went to my first home, my second home, my third home, and it was by the end of that